Really? Wow, Meredith.
She's the queen of sunshine.
You know, we got placed together. Years, Meredith and I. We allowed family years. That's why I thought she was my best friend. She's always the first one I get totally with you. Totally with you.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Joe. Great. Lots of funny people.
I see somebody.
Did you meet Michaela and Carl and everybody? No.
Oh, Jake's gonna be so jealous. Okay, what? Wait till I tell them. Wait till I tell Jake. He's gonna be so jealous. No need to tell me. Do you have anything?
Testing, testing. Good morning. Welcome to First Brookline, a Unitarian Universalist congregation welcoming to all. Wherever you are on your faith journey, whatever you believe, and whatever you question, you are welcome here. My name is Elizabeth McIntyre. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your worship associate this morning. Our service will be led by our interim minister, Reverend Joe Cherry. I want to offer a special welcome to all those here for Julius. We're so glad to have you all here together with us this morning. If you are new or if this is your first time at First Parish, we extend a special welcome to you. We invite everyone to join us at our social hour after our service in the Peterson Room. And now we have a few announcements. Kay, come on up.
Good morning. Good morning. I just wanted to extend a special welcome to all of our kids and families and to let people know that there's professional nursery care downstairs that anybody can take advantage of. There's a coloring table over in the corner with fidgets and toys if you want to grab them. Know that we are so happy to have the sacred noise of children and movement of children in our sanctuary, however you want to feel comfortable today.
Eliza.
Eliza Blanchard, she, her. I have a couple of announcements.
Eat the mic. Just eat the mic.
Oh, okay. This better? Yes. Okay. Number one, it's great to have you all here. Number two, this means that there's going to be a little bit of excitement right after this. We're going to move to accommodate all the special luncheon that Toby and Yvonne have provided. We're going to move some tables out here, and if you want to help, you could see Ralph Child and maybe Carol Spitzer too. I think she knows the plan. So jump in and join, and we'll have a lovely special social hour. Once you get your coffee and enjoy a sandwich and have cake, you can take that or meander down to Pierce Hall because we have a very special history exhibit there that will be open this afternoon to about 1:30, maybe a little later if you're really a nerd like me. Then next, on the 28th, We are going to have a fantastic international folk dance from 7 to 9, all ages. We have this wonderful, wonderful woman, Marcy Van Cleve, who teaches everybody everything they need to know to have a really good time. And it means you can skip the gym that day because you'll be dancing and sweating. So thank you all very much.
Hi, I'm Martha Leader, she, her. Just want to let people know, building on the stories about our history, that some of our members of the Racial Justice Action Committee did a lot of research a few years ago about our history around enslavement and land theft. And we've been invited to join 5 UU congregations next Saturday morning, and there's a flyer, thanks to Barbara, out in the hall, and also a notice, thanks to Juan, in the newsletter, if you'd like to join Ron Almas and me, hearing 5 congregations share how they've been working on reparations, which is something we made a collective commitment to at our annual meeting. Thanks.
Lisa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Underhill, she, her. I'm a member of the First Parish Ministerial Search Committee, and I just wanted to let you know that we have 3 candidates that we're pretty excited about that we think are, also interested in us. So we will keep you posted. It's a complicated process. If you want to talk to any of us, please feel free to reach out during social hour or just email or call us. Again, this is a 2-year contract ministry that we're advertising for, but we made it clear that we hope that our candidates will be interested in the potential of becoming a called settled minister after that 2-year period. Thank you.
Ralph, did you have one? No? What? Great.
This is an extraordinary number of announcements. Good morning. My name is Whit Larrabee. I am the chair of the parish board for this year. And I'm pleased to announce that, better put my glasses on here, I'm pleased to announce that today is the start of our annual stewardship pledge drive for this coming fiscal year. Yay! Our pledge drive this year is being led by Elena Garofoli, Michael Monroe, Ralph Child, and me. And our theme for this year's campaign is Carry the Flame Forward. In these uncertain times, we are choosing to carry our values into the future with hope, love, and compassion. Our goal for this year's pledge drive is $338,000, a 20% increase over last year. We are also striving to have 100% participation from our members. We are grateful to you for every pledge in any amount. If you haven't already received it, you will receive information regarding pledging by snail mail and email. Your pledges sustain our worship, music, religious exploration, social action, and beautiful historic building. You can pledge online or at the stewardship table during coffee hour at the end of the service. Don't be surprised if you hear from one of your fellow members who are reaching out to hear from you about your experience at First Parish as part of our pledge process. We do this every year to maintain communication and connection within our community. Thank you.
Hey! Ralph Child, he, him, 2 really quick things. One is the letters have gone out for the pledge. If you get it.
Eat the mic. Just eat the mic. Put it close to your mouth, Ralph. There you go.
I'll try again. The letters have gone out for the pledge campaign. Someone told me today, I appreciate it, that she had received it and almost threw it away because it doesn't say on the envelope that it's from First Parish, and it's got one of those sticker kind of labels that we generated. So if you get one of those, please read it. And second, I'm going to stand up again at the end of the service because we're going to have to ask for a bit. in reorganizing the room to be able to accommodate all of us and more food than usual. And instead of immediately dashing into Peterson, please do one of two ways to help. One is to help move the furniture, and the other is to stay out of the way of the people that are moving it without diving in for the food. It will come out, I promise. Thank you so much.
I must say, I feel like Julius. When there are lots of announcements, I know that's because we are such a vibrant and welcoming and exciting place to be. So thank you all for all you shared. And now we have a testimonial from one.
So this is testimonial for the pledge, by the way. I don't know if it's going to be clear from the beginning, so I just wanted to... If you had told me 2 years ago that I would be standing in a church today addressing all of you, I would have thought you were out of your mind. I spent a lot of time in my childhood with my grandparents. My maternal grandmother was educated in Catholic schools and had had a strained relationship with the nuns that were her teachers. She spent her adult life railing against them. My paternal grandfather was a refugee from the Spanish Civil War who had experienced firsthand how the Catholic Church collaborated with Franco in the fascist overtake of his country. So you can imagine what I said when my loving wife, Susie, casually suggested one day to go to a UU church service. To say that I was completely unenthusiastic is an understatement. You want to go where? Even though I knew nothing about the UU church, I knew I wanted to do nothing with any kind of church. Years passed, and Susie kept bringing it up. I now understood that it would have very little to do with what I thought I knew about churches or the practice of religion. But still, it did not appeal to me. When my daughter Maya turned 4, it was clear she very much enjoyed spending time with kids her own age. We would spend hours at playgrounds as a family on weekends, and quite frankly, it was getting old for me. So frankly, when Susie reminded me that Maya could make new friends her own age at the UU church, I said, okay, I'm willing to go. I thought, at least I get to sit for an hour during the service and daydream. I was so wrong. My expectations were so far from reality, and that was clear from the first 5 minutes we walked into this church for the first time. My first surprise was that Maya felt completely at home here, immediately. I cannot express how happy this made me feel. Another surprise was that I actually enjoyed the service. I did very little daydreaming. More than anything, I felt welcome and at ease. Since that first visit, I have been constantly inspired and comforted by this congregation, whether by being at the Sunday service, being part of the Immigration Justice Committee, or assembling the newsletter. It's just so incredible to witness so many people that care and volunteer. Susie and I, when talking about our fears, have said many times, the church has our back. I also now realize that on top of all the time and effort we all put into making this congregation work, we also need money. That's why our family is happy to pledge. We are so lucky and grateful to be a part of this community. You all mean a lot to us. Thank you.
That was very well done for your first time up here. I'm going to just guess there'll be more times like that in your future. Oh, Eleanor. I'm glad you've come, Eleanor. I was asking about you earlier. I'm glad you're here. So I'm going to start by saying, Eleanor and other friends, welcome into this gathering space. We come from a world that is beautiful and troubled, a world where sorrow and joy live side by side. And yet we gather. We gather because human beings have always gathered, in sanctuaries and in kitchens, in fields and living rooms, in times of peace and times of uncertainty. We gather because life continues. We gather because hope is not a feeling, but a practice. We gather because love asks to be lived, not merely believed. So come into this hour with open hearts and let us worship together. I don't have a hymn number. Right, I have the title, but I don't have a number. Do you want to?
There isn't a number. The words are up
Okay,
here, and it's
that's
sung
what I'm
to the tune of Morning Has Broken. If you'd rise as you're willing and able and join us all in singing Wonder of Wonders.
Thank you. I was like, am I wrong? Did I goof up something? I'm going to say.
I invite Willem, Julius's godfather, to please come and light the chalice as we all in reading our community's covenant together, first in Spanish and then in English. Nos entregamos y nos comprometemos a caminar juntos como congregación, prometiendo con mucha fe cuidarnos mutuamente y deleitarnos en el amor que permanecerá entre nosotros. We give ourselves one unto another, covenanting to walk together as a congregation, promising faithfully to watch over one another and to delight for love to abide in our midst.
Good morning again, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. If you were given a flower today, I would like to invite you to come forward and lay them beautifully in the basket. Whatever you think beautiful is good enough. So there is a reason I've asked folks to bring forward flowers into the basket, and that is to symbolize how the whole community comes together to create this space for this dedication and naming. So each of us has a part. Each of us has helped set the stage, create the space for today's ceremony. So thank you for taking part. You want to come up? Everybody? I'm going to stand over here so everyone can see you all. How's that? Okay? So I'm going to ask you some questions, and your answers are very short, so don't be nervous. It'll all be okay. Toby and Yvonne, you've brought this precious young life into being together. And now you have the responsibility to love, support, and care for him. You already are and have been for a while, and you will continue for years to come, being his primary source of security and guidance. Occasionally, you will need help, and that's what extended family and community is for. So please remember that. Remember the flowers in the basket that everyone brought together. You're not alone in this, in hard days and great days. You are not alone in your adventure with Julius. Do you pledge to do your very best as often as you can, knowing that every human being is finite, flawed, complicated, and loving? Will you do your best to guide Julius always and also forgive yourself and each other when things go slightly off plan? Will you trust the people who love you and him to help you when you need help? If you're willing to do that, say, "We will." Sir, come forward so that you're not in trouble, don't worry. Being a godfather is a special gift to both Julius and you. You will have almost all the authority of a parent, but without all the fights about bedtime, for example. Joy of watching Julius grow from the vantage point of a trusted elder. He may turn to you in time with hard questions he isn't ready to ask his own parents yet. Do you promise to be a source of wisdom, a listening ear, and a steady presence in his life? If you are willing, say, "I will." Thank you. Everybody else, this is your part. Pay attention. People of First Parish, we are here today with a young family. They've come far to build a life in our midst. By pretty well. We sat with them in services, talked with them at coffee hours and dinners. We've become invested in them as they've become invested in us. Yvonne and Toby have asked us to witness this ceremony as we name Julius today, but they brought us their child to model what it means to live in community with others. This comes with some responsibility on your part, just as it does for all the children who are part of our lives. Congregation, do you promise to watch out for Julius, to help him to learn and grow in safety and wonder? Will you celebrate his victories and support him when things feel hard for him? Will you support Yvonne and Toby in the monumental effort it takes to raise a child? If you are willing, please say, "I will." We will. Good. So one of the things we talked about is how Julius loves to hold stones. And so instead of a more traditional water blessing that happens, we decided to make a stone blessing. I have in my hand 2 stones. You want to hold one of the stones? You don't have to if you're too shy, it's okay. One stone is smooth, polished, waxed, lovely. because sometimes that's how life is. But also, there's a stone from my garden, which is rough and not smooth, but sometimes easier to hold on to. So I'm going to give this to you. I give you these two stones for a couple of reasons. First, I know that you like smooth stones, and with it, my first blessing. May you have many things in life that, like you, bring joy. Your life may be new, but a stone can be as old as the earth itself. This stone was formed long before human memory. Through fire, water, pressure, and time, it carries within it the memory of ancient seas, the slow turning of the earth, and the long story of life unfolding. Today we place it in your hands, a reminder that your life too is part of a long unfolding story of the earth. Reverend Eliza?
I'm going to invite you to take a couple steps back so people over there can get a view. There you go. All right, I want to talk to you, Julius, right now, who I have known since you took your very first breath here in Massachusetts. First, I want you to know yourself as a very lucky person. Long ago, when this congregation was new, the sanctuary had no heat. It was considered part of church that you didn't have heat in the winter. And Reverend Joe would have had to break the ice to christen you with water. You would have been just a few weeks old because that's how they did it long, long ago. So Julius, perhaps one day your parents will remind you of this day, of what it meant to them and to your godfather to have you welcomed into this community of seekers. This community includes all of us, young, old, and in between. This ceremony is an important reminder to me, young Julius, and all of our youngest not yet members, that we are all watching, and you are watching and listening to us. All of you young folks absorb our words and our actions, and by this, they know who we are and what we stand for better sometimes than we know ourselves. So yes, you are engaging in a congregation of believers, doubters, and even atheists. But I hope we will all share with you what we hold together, what holds us together. A belief in the power of love above all, a sense of wonder at being an integral part of all creation, and a commitment to leave this world better than we found it, more just and more sustaining for all. We welcome you into our midst. We delight for love to abide with you and for you, and we promise to see you for the person that you are now at 2 years old plus, and for the very human being you will become. And so I want to invite Toby and Yvonne to give us a little bit of information about your name.
Yeah, I just want to quickly say a huge thank you for everyone that made this happen. I'm so touched and I have to breathe. Thank you also for welcoming us when, he was a little baby. We were always at the back of the service and you made us feel so invited when I was always worried, making sounds and so I've always felt very welcome. But this is about the name, so you want to?
I can say something about the name. So first name Julius. So we're both lovers of history, especially Roman history. So this name had a good ring to us. And what many people actually don't know, Julius, the first Julius in history, was actually a different Julius than most people think about. It was actually a son of Aeneas who came from Troy as a refugee to Italy, nowadays Italy, and basically laid the foundation of Rome and the Roman civilization. And so he's the first Julius out there, and he's basically coming to a new country and built something great. So I thought, we came to the US with Yvonne heavily pregnant, and Julius being born here. It's kind of a very fitting name for that, coming to a new country and starting something from new, which hopefully will be great. So his second name is Helmut. You already can see getting like emotional. He was my grandfather, who was very influential to me. So he had a big library of books about all topics, and natural sciences, history, Rome, and this is the first time he introduced me to kind of all these topics. And because of this broad interest, I think without him I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't have never studied natural sciences. I would have never had an interest in history. So I think, without him I wouldn't be here. And I hope he was also a fantastic person. He was a very kind man, and I hope some of the spark will be inherited to Julius as well.
Thank you. Julius, I will now give you a symbol, a rose. You get a flower too today, okay? This rose, white, budding, and thornless, is a symbol of our hopes for you and for all of the important people that you carry with you in your name. So, Julius, don't eat it. That's what my son did when he got his. Julius, we will know you by the name you've been given and by your actions, your loves, and your challenges. In other words, there will be thorns. May we hold them with care as we ourselves would be held. May you walk in beauty, peace, and love with all of us.
And now we're going to sing our little scholars off to class. Oh, wait, announcement.
I just want to give people instructions where to go. So if you are going to our spirit play class for our little kids, 3rd grade or younger, you can go upstairs. And if you're going to our Pathfinders class, 3rd grade or older, you can follow Michael downstairs to the Dana room.
So one of the great things about having another reverend or two in the church is sometimes you can ask them to help you out. So today, Reverend Eliza and I are going to bring you into a moment of calm and centering together. So let us take a moment to arrive fully. Take a slow breath. Feel your feet on the floor, the steady rhythm of breathing, the quiet presence of those gathered around you. The world beyond these walls can feel very heavy at times. There are headlines and worries and questions that follow us everywhere. And yet, we are here.
Human beings have always found ways to pause, to breathe, to gather, to remember what matters most. In this moment, Let us allow our shoulders to soften, our breathing to deepen, and our attention to settle. May we find here a moment of stillness in the midst of a complicated world.
The possibility of beginning again, from the teachings of Hannah Arendt. The philosopher Hannah Arendt, writing after the devastation of the 20th century, insisted that even in troubled times, the human story is never finished. She reminded us that the most remarkable fact about human life is that each person enters the world as a beginning. As she wrote, the miracle that saves the world is ultimately the fact of natality. The simple fact that human beings are born, and with them arrives the capacity to act and begin something new. For Arendt, this ability to begin again is not naive optimism. It is the very foundation of freedom. Beginning, she wrote, is the supreme capacity of man, the power to initiate something that did not exist before. Even when the world feels dark or uncertain, This capacity remains. New beginnings are always possible because new people continually enter the world, each capable of words and deeds that reshape our shared life. To act, to speak, to start something small but hopeful, these are not trivial gestures. They are how human beings renew the world together. In difficult times especially, the task before us may be simple: to remember that the future is not closed and that each of us carries within us the power to begin. Now is the time in our service when our offering is given and gratefully received. If this is your first time with us, we invite you to let the basket pass you by. We're so glad to have you with us.
It's me again. On behalf of Reverend Joe and the board, we all view these gifts as an act of trust by the congregation. We gratefully receive it and promise to use these resources in service of our shared values. Thank you.
Before I begin this morning's sermon, I want you to invite you to picture something with me. Many years ago, I came across a photograph that I've never quite been able to forget. It was a black and white image of a bride and groom standing in the rubble of a bombed building, both wearing gas masks. Ever since the first time I saw it, I was working in a discount bookstore in Detroit, that image has stayed with me. And this morning, as we celebrate a new beginning in our own community, I find myself thinking about that photograph again. Let me tell you why. My sermons don't often start with a visual image. Instead, I often find myself letting my mind wander, asking questions, like that line from Peter Mayer's UU hymn, casting questions into the deep, the one we all love so much. This morning's sermon, though, started with this stark visual image that I discovered before I left Detroit in 1995. It's stark. It could be seen as bleak. It could be heartbreaking. And ever since I got over the initial shock of it, for me, it has become a symbol of utter defiance. Like many photos that you yourself didn't take, the viewer doesn't know the whole story behind the image. And I think that becomes an open invitation to create a story about what we are seeing. Weddings usually take months of planning, though in times of war they can happen with some great immediacy. This bride, whose face is obscured, making her really a stand-in for every bride, wears a white dress and carries flowers in her hands. If it weren't for the gas mask and the rubble surrounding her, she could be any bride, anywhere, at almost any time since Queen Victoria popularized white wedding dresses. The man, of course, is dressed in a suit, unremarkable. The sort of thing that can belong to almost any era. The groom's attire is rarely considered as important as the bride's dress. Skipping past all the complicated and sometimes troubling history behind wedding symbolism, what I saw was this: a woman, possibly young, who had planned her wedding, chosen a dress, picked out flowers, reserved the church, and was ready for. And then disaster struck. Bombs going off, the church in rubble, noxious fumes in the air. But that was not going to stop her wedding. Not because she was a proto-bridezilla, but because she and he were made of tougher metal than that. You can almost imagine her saying, "Is this the wedding I dreamed of? No, but we will marry today in spite of the disaster, because life is made of small acts of resistance. Our wedding will not be blind to the difficulties, but neither will it be sidelined by them." What was it that the Queen Mother kept saying during World War II? Keep calm and carry on. This photograph is carrying on. This morning we have celebrated the naming of Julius here among friends and neighbors. Welcome, everybody. In our church community. This is a joyous occasion, and yet we cannot be blind to the circumstances of our world at this moment. Some people ask why it is appropriate to celebrate during times of duress. Others answer in various ways. We celebrate in order to remember why we struggle for a better world. While we are not blind to the suffering of our neighbors, whether here in Brookline, in West Bloomfield, Michigan, in the lands being bombed in the Ukraine, or across the Tigris River Valley, we acknowledge and mourn the difficulties and grief of our fellow humans and other creatures, and yet we cannot surrender wholly to despair. Celebrations like this morning remind us that life has never been easy, and yet joy still breaks through. Theologians have tried to describe this strange human capacity, our ability to move forward even in the midst of disaster. Jürgen Moltmann, in his book, The Theology of Hope, wrote, "Hope is the power of the future in the present." The bride and groom forging ahead with their wedding, a child being named and celebrated in church while atrocities are being committed across the globe. These are shining examples of Moltmann's assertion. In the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, I was serving a newly merged church in Shaker, Ohio. Shaker Heights, none of us really knew what we were doing with the online worship. Something that had, since its beginning of human time, had been gathering of people, suddenly became a dispersal of people, all trying to log on to Zoom at the same time. People with wildly different levels of technical ability were desperately trying to stay connected with one another. It was a very challenging time. And then a younger couple in the congregation had an idea. His family had been part of the church going all the way back to 1836. He and his wife suggested something that sounded almost a little crazy at the time. What if we met together in small neighborhood clusters in a nearby park, simply to be together? People could gather safely outdoors, we knew that by then, and in each cluster, a younger, more tech-savvy person wearing a mask would bring their laptop and help the older, less tech-native members learn how to use Zoom. It was not my idea, I want to be clear, but I thought it was brilliant. What began as a practical solution became something more. These gatherings continued beyond their original purpose, and the church actually grew closer through the crisis. This is what Presbyterian minister Frederick Bruckner meant when he wrote, "Here is the world. Beautiful and terrible things will happen. Don't be afraid." I don't know the full story of how this church made its way through the depths of the pandemic, but clearly you made it too. Walt Whitman famously wrote in Leaves of Grass, Song of Myself, "Do I contradict myself? Very well, then I contradict myself. I am large and I contain multitudes." We humans are large and complex. We are capable of dutifully, deeply, and truthfully feeling the sorrow of the world while also celebrating the joys of life. Today, with Julius, his parents, his friends, and his church family, we have proven that once again. Somewhere in history, a bride and groom stood in the rubble and chose love anyway. Today, in our own complicated world, we have done the same. So, young Julius, thank you for being such a wise teacher. Amen. Please come together to sing our closing hymn, Rising in Body and Spirit as You're Able. The lyrics will be on the screen or in your hymnal 175.
Please join with me in our unison affirmation as Reverend Joe extinguishes the chalice. Apagamos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, ni el calor de la comunidad, ni el fuego del compromiso. Estos los llevamos y con nosotros y los ofrecemos para bendecir al mundo. We extinguish this flame and not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us and offer as gifts unto the world.
Before I give the benediction, remember, you can do 2 ways to help. Help or get out of the way. Go ahead, Ralph. If you want to be helpful by being out of the way, you can go down the stairs to Pierce where the history example is and walk around for a little bit and we'll come get you. How's that? As we leave this place and return to our lives, may we remember that hope rarely arrives as certainty. More often it appears in small, quiet acts. In the decision to gather, the courage to begin again, in the simple choice to love in a complicated world. Long ago, somewhere in history, a bride and groom stood in the rubble and chose love anyway. Today, in our own time, we continue that ancient human work. Go now into the world with steady hearts, open hands, and the quiet courage to carry on. Amen.